What if the biggest obstacle between you and your potential isn't your environment, your resources, or even your discipline, but a quiet voice in your head that says, "You're not ready yet"? High achievers face a paradox. You work harder than most. You're talented, driven, prepared. Yet something stops you right before the breakthrough. You hesitate when opportunity knocks. You shrink in the big meeting. You abandon the project that matters most. This isn't laziness. This is something deeper. Today we're exploring mental barriers, the invisible cognitive blocks that keep you playing small, and more importantly, how to dismantle them from the inside out. Let's start with what's actually happening. You've probably experienced this. You set a goal. You plan your steps. You have the skills. But when it's time to act, your mind floods with doubt. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe this is reckless. What if I fail and prove everyone right? These thoughts aren't random. They're limiting beliefs, deeply embedded assumptions about yourself, success, and safety. Psychologists define them as cognitive distortions that restrict your behavior based on outdated or false information. The tricky part? They operate below conscious awareness. You don't think them, you feel them as truth. And here's the pattern. The higher you climb, the louder they get. Because mental barriers aren't there to stop you from failing. They're there to stop you from changing. Let's look at why. Here's where it gets fascinating. When you approach something unfamiliar or high stakes, your brain's amygdala, the alarm center, activates. It scans your memory for patterns and threats. If you've internalized messages like "success means losing yourself" or "I don't deserve this," your amygdala interprets growth as danger. This triggers what psychologists call cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort of holding two conflicting beliefs. For example, "I want to succeed" versus "successful people are selfish." Your brain hates this tension, so it resolves it by choosing safety, procrastination, self-sabotage, giving up. But here's the truth the science reveals. Limiting beliefs aren't personality flaws. They're learned neural patterns. And neural patterns can be rewired. The question isn't whether you can change. It's whether you're willing to see the pattern clearly enough to interrupt it. So how do you actually overcome mental barriers? I want to share a 3-step framework I call the clarity, challenge, rewrite method. It's simple, but it requires honesty. Step 1. Clarity. Name the barrier. Write down the exact thought that stops you. Not vague fear, specific language. Instead of "I'm scared," write, "I believe that if I succeed, I'll lose my authenticity." Or, "I think I'm a fraud who just got lucky." Awareness is the first act of freedom. You can't change what you can't see. Step 2. Challenge. Question the belief. Now ask yourself, where did this belief come from? A teacher's comment? A cultural norm? A single failure you generalized into a rule? Is it based on evidence or assumption? And here's the key question. Would I say this to someone I love? Most limiting beliefs come from outdated stories. They were survival strategies once, but they're no longer serving you. Step 3. Rewrite. Replace with truth. This isn't about toxic positivity. It's about accurate reframing. Replace the distortion with a performance mindset grounded in reality. Example. Old. I'm not smart enough. New. I'm learning, and that's how intelligence grows. Old. If I fail, I'll prove I'm worthless. New. Failure is feedback, not identity. The difference is subtle but powerful. One keeps you stuck, the other keeps you growing. Let's pause and think about this for a second. Think of someone you deeply admire, an athlete, entrepreneur, artist. What you see is their success. What you don't see are the mental barriers they dismantled to get there. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers who told her children's books don't sell. Oprah was told she wasn't right for television. They didn't have fewer barriers. They learned to recognize them as cognitive blocks, not truth. And every time they rewrote the pattern, their brain built a new pathway. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're just carrying outdated mental software. And today, you started the update. Here's what I want you to remember. Mental barriers aren't walls. They're mirrors. They reflect the beliefs you've absorbed about success, worthiness, identity, but they're not the truth of who you are. The moment you see them clearly, you reclaim your power. Because your potential isn't limited by what you can do. It's limited by what you believe you can do. And belief is a skill you can train. One actionable step. Tonight, write down one limiting belief that's been holding you back. Then ask yourself, is this belief helping me grow or protecting me from discomfort? That's where change begins. The path to high performance isn't about doing more. It's about thinking differently. And thinking differently starts with dismantling the inner resistance that's kept you safe but small. Remember, you are not behind. You're just starting to understand yourself deeper. If this video helped you see your mind in a new way, subscribe to the Mind Observatory for more insights on high-performance thinking. And drop a comment. What's one mental barrier you're ready to break? I read every single one. Until next time, unlock your mind, redefine your limits.